enterprises, we have reduced it from 800 to 500 now for the entire year for you to get a quality mark. And this 500 is really for us to recover the basic costs of providing a service to these enterprises. Remember, as a government agency, we don't make profit. So we are basically now reducing to 500 so that these enterprises save 300, which initially they are paying on account of promoting the quality culture in these enterprises. So if you divide 500,000 by 12 months in a year, you can see how much that is. It is actually less than the power bills these enterprises pay. It is less than possibly the water or utility bills they pay. And therefore, we want to make sure that the excuse of implementing standards on account of high costs is no longer the issue. We have also reduced for the large, medium and large enterprises. Initially, they were paying 1.3 million for the entire year. We have also reduced by 300 so that they pay 1 million for the entire year. Again, divide 1 million for a large company, divide 1 million by 12 months, and you will be able to see that this money is not necessarily for profit, but to be able to promote the implementation of standards in these enterprises. But that is not enough. We have also proceeded to make sure that we offer training and advisory services to the SMEs, because we do appreciate the knowledge gap and capacity in this micro small. So UNBS provide free training and advisory services, and we are encouraging them to join the sectors where they participate in, so that we are also able to give them standards as a group, as an association. So you don't buy standards, you don't pay for training, because that is our offer to help these SMEs recover post-COVID, and also to demystify that.
All right, now, during a media briefing in Kampala, the executive director of Uganda National Bureau of Standards, Dr. Livingston Eberu, says in line with the national sub-theme building back post COVID-19, the role of URSB and UNBS is to promote Buy Uganda and Build Uganda policy, which is to promote Buy Uganda, Build Uganda policy all over the country by improving on the level of exports in the country, as well as hitting the markets away from that. Now, he notes that they have as well decided to subsidize the cost of implementing standards to enable the private sector build back better and bigger, as you have definitely seen. Now, let's move on to the next one. Kampala City Council Authority has received 73 million from the Ministry of Health for allowances of nurses carrying out the COVID-19 vaccination exercise. Last week, nurses deployed at several KCCA vaccination centers stand the exercise, protesting the non-payment of their allowances. More of the details.
The Uganda Nurses and Midwifery Union had threatened to mobilize nurses to strike over the lack of allowances. At some of the vaccination centers in Kampala, some of the nurses decided to stay away for a week due to lack of their facilitation. Some of the vaccination centers in Kampala, some of the nurses decided to stay away for the week due to lack of facilitation. Kampala Capital City Authority has now received 73 million from the Ministry of Health for allowances of nurses carrying out the COVID-19 vaccination exercise. Last week again, nurses deployed at several KCCA vaccination centers shunned the exercise, protesting the non-payment of their allowances. The nurses are entitled to a daily allowance of 5,000, which is meant to facilitate their movement. However, the nurses had gone for a week without the payment of their allowances. They also note that the Ministry of Health was non-committal on when they will get their money. Robert Kalumba, the spokesperson of Kampala Capital City Authority, says that they received the money and the nurses will receive their arrears on their accounts. According to Emmanuel Nebiona, the spokesperson from the Ministry of Health, the 5,000 shillings allowance was approved by the Minister of Public Service, adding that the ministry, together with the respective local government, is in charge of paying the nurses.
At some of the vaccination centers in Kampala, some of the nurses decided to stay home, it being the fact that they didn't have transport allowances. And according to the situation, they're supposed to receive 5,000 on a daily to transport them to and from the vaccination centers. That is why most of them are actually crying out to the government, telling them, you know what, we're not going to vaccinate the Ugandans unless we have our allowances on board. So the government has, Kampala City Council Authority has now received 73 million from the Ministry of Health for the allowances of nurses carrying out the COVID-19 vaccination exercise. All right, now, Smart Means Business continues with the news hour, but after that, I'm coming back with Andrew Barije to continue as well to take you through the news hour.
UDB is a development finance institution focused on accelerating socioeconomic development through sustainable financial intervention in line with the country's development priorities. The Speaker, Jacob Oulanyah, urged Uganda Development Bank to reduce its lending rate from 12%, saying that access to affordable loans by a majority of Ugandans is key driver to socioeconomic transformation. He made the remarks while meeting the board of the bank at Parliament on 13th October 2021. He said that 12% is still high for long-term investment, saying that they are not blaming UDB but can more creative to ensure the rate is lowered. The framework for the lending by UDB could be different from the commercial banks borrowing money. Now is a death warrant for the company and owner. We have buried prospective business people because their properties were taken. It's not sustainable. You do not earn from borrowing. According to Oulanyah, such challenges can be addressed by a deliberate effort by the bank to invest in enabling access to cheap loans. The managing director, UDB, Patricia Ojangole, said that the bank has deliberate strategy to create and support investment opportunities in other regions. A lot of money has been invested in industries in Kampala like Namavi Industrial Park, but moving forward, we intend to go other regions, she said. She added that the bank will start providing business advisory to small and medium enterprises to enable them access financing.